Hi, guys. So I just got back from taking a walk. I have to, this is really embarrassing, but okay. So basically, my friend and I were talking about how long should we walk because we both have Fitbits and we were trying to set attainable goals, right? And so she's like, well, somebody said 10,000 steps is always a good daily step amount, especially if you're not really working out. And so we're like, okay. So I set my little Fitbit, to be all celebratory if I hit 10,000 steps. And I did that last night, and I got to 10,000 steps last night, which for some reason, for me, it takes quite a lot. Like, I'm more sedentary than I think I thought I was. And that's just being on dialysis because you're just tired all the time. So I typically know when my iron is running low and when I need to start eating like a burger or steak or something, because I can just feel the energy drain immediately when I don't have those things in my system. So yesterday, let me think. I took Smokey for a walk and we went our regular large route. So that was a good amount of time. And that's usually about 4,000 steps, give or take. And I was talking to my friend, right? And I'm like, I see these speed walking people and people who run, of course. And then people who you can tell are just walkers. And they're always like this, right? And I'm like self-conscious now about how I walk, and I don't walk like that. Like I have the leash and I usually have the poop bags, or I have Charlie's hand, if I take him for a walk, and he's got little legs. And so I don't really do anything like that. And so I thought yesterday that I had done 10,000 steps by taking Smokey for a walk, and then I had Charlie and we took a long walk, and we also went to the playground and played a little bit. And still at the end of the night I was like maybe near 9,000, like over 8,000, which was my goal from before, but now it's 10, and so now I'm nearing 9,000, and I'm like, son of a gun, I have got to get more steps in. So I started, my friend will lay in bed and she goes like this, and that makes more steps happen because your body thinks you're walking. Well, I don't want to do that because I feel like that may be pushing it to cheating. So I decided to do lunges, and also I started walking in place. Now that sounds so lame because walking in place seems like such a lame thought, an idea, and almost like it's cheating. But have you ever walked in place? Like, I think because you're walking in place, it's somehow laborsome. So anyways, after like 80 lunges and walking in place, in about 12 minutes, I had completed my task of 10,000 steps in one day. And I was just stunned that it took me that long, those many things to do to get to 10,000 steps. So I'm not really dismayed about it, but at the same time, it's so dumb. So here's where the embarrassment part comes in. So when I was walking earlier, today Richie didn't have school. And so I ended up having the 7-year-old and Charlie. And Richie is a big YouTube person. Like he'll just sit on a tablet and play all day. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And he knows, like, at my house I have very strict rules. Like, your shoes are off, you don't eat on my carpet, you can drink water. I don't have snacks, so don't ask. I'm not trying to be an ass, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be dishonest about what I have and what I stand for. Like, you come to my house, and he knows, like, he's 7. He understands us now. Like, she's not going to have, hot Cheetos. So, I mean, I might, but still. Anyways, Anyways, so I get to Charlie's, and so we go outside, and I decide we're going to walk around like a long part of our neighborhood. And what's really cool is I wanted to see if they would make it around, Charlie especially, which I was hoping I didn't have to carry him, because that neighborhood has got phenomenal Christmas lights going on. So I thought that would be so cool to take them at night, but I want to make sure that they could actually make it. And so and it sounds like it's freaking miles and miles. Well, to the 7-year-old, he was like, this is so far. And I'm like, oh my gosh, give me a break. So we talked a lot about how we need to be thankful about the fact that there's cars, electricity, and he has a bike he can ride, and all the stuff you can do to entertain yourself that isn't on TV. So, Charlie's just plugging along. So when we got back, we went to the little playground and played there a little bit. And then we came home, and I realized it was lunchtime. And usually for Charlie, he'll take like a banana. Sometimes he'll have applesauce or yogurt, his drink. He's a very finicky eater because he's just going through that phase where it's like texture is a big issue. And so I will buy ramen, and he and I sometimes will split the noodles. And so once the noodles are cooked, I pull them out real fast so they can start to air dry and cool down. And I give him those and he'll eat that. Today he had some bologna, which I wasn't real thrilled about, but it was fine. So when we got to the apartment, I realized I don't have lunch for them. So we went back down to his place. We made lunch, and I actually ended up pulling out a bag of chicken nuggets, and I put them on the counter, and then we walked off without them. And the dog and cat ate them, and I felt so bad. But it happens, right? I was too concerned with getting Charlie and Richie organized. So once we left there, we came back home, and I had him, in his high chair, and he's eating, and Richie's eating, and we're watching Frozen. And I looked at my Fitbit, and it said that I had done over 4,000 steps. So what's embarrassing is like my 2-year-old has done 4,000 steps with no complaints. And he'd probably still want to be out there. And I'm like, holy crap, if that was not like reality smacking me in the face. Insane. Just insane. So anyways, I was like, shoot, I still need to get to at least, what is that, 6,000 steps more? And so, after I put him down for his nap, and I got Richie settled, I think I was about 5,000 steps at that point. So I was like, well, I'm halfway there. So when he gets up, maybe we'll go back out and walk a little bit more, which we did. And I just dropped him off with his dad because his dad's home. And we didn't go real far, but we went across the street, and there's a huge water fountain thing that's just super obvious from the street. That's how people know where I live, because I'm like, oh, the big water fountain on Broadway. Well, I'm over there. And so we walked near it, and they've really cleaned it up, because it used to be this algae-filled pool. And the reason I know is because one time Smokey wanted to go over there, and he wanted to get in the water. So the dumb dog who doesn't want to have a bath hates a sprinkler. God forbid you put him out in the rain, Smokey. God forbid you put him in the rain. Wanted to get into that pond. And so that's how I know that it was not the greatest. Anyways, we went and looked at that, and then they have a nice green lawn, but I don't let go of his hand because Broadway's right there. And the lawn's really large though, so I can grab him easily, but I'm still too paranoid. So we held hands and walked around to the church, which is on the other side of us, and there's this big lot that is just open. And so I let him kind of run around freely there because there's no danger of cars and so forth. And so we did that, and then I walked him a little bit further in our complex and took him home, right? So now I'm at 6,445 5 steps. I'm like, I still need like, what is that? 4,000 more steps to go? Now, remember I said I took Smokey on the long walk and that was 4,000 steps. So now I have a choice. I can take Smokey out and we can go that long walk again. Or I can go shopping because I need to go to Walmart. I need to go to Costco. I need to go to Fry's. Albertsons Safeway has a great sale in roast right now. I need to do that. I'm waiting for Donnie to get home. We may end up going to the Jam and dancing. That always helps. But one of the things I found out and realized, and I was talking to my friend about this, like I messaged her and I was like, dude, no wonder the girls walk like this, because it counts your steps so much better than if I'm just like walking but not swinging my arms, because apparently Fitbit picks up my motion. Like the whole Fitbit thing and how it figures out I'm walking is like sorcery. Because I'm like, would it be better to have a walking counter on your foot than your arms? Because then you don't have to walk like this, because now I'm uberly paranoid about, am I moving my arms? Like, have I cheated myself by keeping myself still? Like, is my arms what's actually keeping the count? Like, all these things I'm doing right now, is that actually counting for me walking when I'm actually just sitting here? You know, and so when I'm walking Smokey out there, or I'm taking Charlie for a walk and I'm holding his hand in my left hand, do I need to swing it a little bit so it'll count? Like, there's nothing worse than going to the gym, and I know somebody out there knows this, and you don't take your Fitbit. Was it even a workout? I don't think so. So anyways, that's my dilemma today. The fact that Charlie has outwalked me. I'm not tired necessarily. I mean, you know, I could eat a really good steak right now. That would be lovely. But I'm not really hungry. Super thirsty. Today was almost 80. It was gross. In fact, when we were walking the neighborhood, I was like almost sweating. And it's weird because in the apartments you feel a little bit chilled, but once you get in the sun and you're walking, totally different. So Richie had a sweatshirt on, he took off. Charlie had a long sleeve shirt on, but it wasn't too heavy, so I was good with that. But any hotter and I'd be like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Anyways, we'll see what happens. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.